Hey everyone, Happy New Year. Hope you guys all spent a great New Year and holiday. Let me come on here and add our guest speaker. Thanks for joining us again for another episode of All Things Self-Love. Let's see. How's everyone doing? Drop it in the comments. How was your New Year? Are you ready to kick off the year in 2022? If you have watched any of the replays, let us know how they were. Let us know if you have any other questions that you'd like for us to continue talking about in the next episodes. Let's wait as Karuna, hypnotherapist, comes on here and joins us for our talk today on self-esteem. Hey Ashley, how's it going? How's everyone doing? How was your New Year's? How's everyone's New Year's? It's cold here. Hey, I'm actually in Canada right now, and it's been record snow. So super, super fun. Nice holidays. Visiting some friends and some other life coaches. Happy New Year, guys. Let's see if Karuna can get on here. Having some technical difficulties today. Just a second, guys. Thanks for staying. Yes, let's do the cold plunge, Sean. I'm up for it. Tyler hyped me up for it, so let's do it. Have any of you done the cold plunge so far in 2022? Let me know. How is it? I haven't done it yet and considering doing it. Let's see. Karuna's still not here. So today we're going to be talking about self-esteem and building on our topics from the before. And then next week we'll be also continuing to discuss even deeper on self-esteem with negative beliefs, specifically the one all about not feeling good enough. Okay, so I see Karuna's in the room. Let me make sure that we can have her come in. Accept.
Hey.
We did it.
Every time it's a new experience for me to get into the live session.
Yep, it's the definition of 2022. Keep going until things happen. So happy New Year to you.
Thank you. Thank you. Happy New Year to you. And everything is going to be great this year.
Yeah.
I like New Year because it just brings about new energy as the number changes and numbers have vibrations. So we went from 2021, which is number 5, to 2022, which is number 6. So lots of opportunities for new things to enter our life if we allow it.
Yeah, 2021 year of transformation, which I definitely felt, and our work and shadow work, and now I'm really ready to go into 2022 with a bang. So today, let's introduce ourselves and get going on self-esteem. So I'm Julie. For those of you who don't know me, I am a certified life coach, and here today we have Karuna, who's a hypnotherapist, energy healer, and also a certified life coach. So Karuna, would you like to introduce yourself anymore?
Yeah, I also do past life regression and soul regressions and a lot of soul work. So I have my own modalities of healing besides the regular ones with like Reiki and pranic healing. But I have my own modalities too. And I'm always excited to have this talk with you.
Yeah, lots of wisdom, and keep an eye out for our little clips that come from these discussions, and we'll be sharing them throughout the weeks And if you guys have any questions or discussions that you'd like us to discuss, share it in the comments, message us directly, and we'll get to the questions. So let's give a little recap of what our series have been about so far.
All right. So I think we started a series on self-love on December 1st, 2021. And we've been trying to do it on a weekly basis. But I think last week we missed it because of the holidays. So we started with self-love and how we can make unconditional love, self-love as the foundation on which we build our life, and how life would be much more meaningful and happy if we make self-love as the foundation. And with every talk we do, we try to share a technique that can help you enhance that quality. And then we delved into different aspects of self-love. So we started with self-acceptance, how when we don't accept parts of us, it's difficult to love those parts of us, and that decreases self-love. And then we talked about, if I remember correctly, boundaries and setting healthy boundaries. And if you don't have boundaries or the boundaries are too open, then it can lead to a lot of frustration, anger, and all kinds of issues. And I think the last one we talked about was believing in yourself. Such an important thing to start the year with, right? You can start the year with believing in yourself more and more. And each of them are interlinked. Though we talk about them separately, they're all connected together. And today we're going to talk about self-esteem, self-confidence, which is tied to, of course, setting boundaries, which is tied to accepting yourself, because your self-esteem goes down when you don't accept parts of you. And when you don't have healthy boundaries, then you are at the mercy of others. So everything is kind of interlinked together. So let's ask the audience, what is their definition of self-esteem?
Yeah.
I haven't done any research on it, okay? So this is just talking extempore with you.
Yeah, as we know, the whole topic of self-love is so broad and has so many different components to it. And I think a big component is understanding what each, for you, is your definition of what that is. And for me, a good, almost like visualization of self-esteem is the roots of a tree. If you want to have that self-love, you need those deep roots where you are and really spread out and balanced and trusting in yourself, so that then you can have that self-love and have that self-confidence. So for me, that's those deep roots that you set within
I
yourself.
think it's a great visualization to do, to think of yourself as a tree. And the stronger your roots are, the taller you can grow and the stronger you can grow, right? So self-esteem, I would just say it's all about trusting yourself more and more, believing in yourself more and more, right? Having the confidence in yourself, in which case you have to come back to what we discussed before, knowing your strengths and weaknesses, right? And I think I'm going to take just one aspect of self-esteem, which is like, what is your identity? Because your identity determines how confident you are within yourself, how much you honor yourself and respect yourself, right? And long time ago, I don't remember when I read some statistics on self-esteem, and it was pretty not very positive when you know that more than 20% of the children in elementary school suffer from low self-esteem. And this now percentage goes up quite a lot when you become in high school or as an adult. Right. So therefore, definitely an issue which a lot of us are facing. And I think one of the reasons is you don't know who you are. So then you're relying on others to define you. And whenever you're relying on others, it all depends how they define you. If they define you well, then you feel happy and your self-esteem goes up. The minute they define you in the wrong way, your self-esteem plummets and goes down, right? So you're constantly going up and down based on what others are talking and others are saying about you. Yeah. So if I know that I'm an orange, and if somebody calls me a pineapple, it wouldn't affect me so much because I know that I'm an orange, right? So when you know your identity, I'm not saying somebody calls me a lemon and I don't have to start behaving like a lemon because they're calling me a lemon. Because every time we don't know who we are, then we are trying to align ourselves to what others perceive us as. And then when we are trying to fit, it's almost like fitting what is it called, a round peg in a square hole, or a square peg in a round hole, right? So you're working harder and harder to fit into the image people want you to create of yourself.
Yeah.
And then your self-esteem just boom goes down or up, down and up based on people's reactions to you.
Yeah.
Do you agree? It's linked to identity.
This is a good recap of one of the exercises we had given to our audience of building the story of who you are. And the new year just started, really even more work on that. What is your story? Who are you? What are you all about? What do you like? What are your values? Go deeper into that, because I think you brought up a key point, which is self-esteem is trusting in yourself. And when you trust in yourself, you build that internal trust, and you seek internally versus always looking externally for approval and acceptance. And I think like a good example is, often something happens in our life and we always go around asking everyone, oh, what do you think I should have done? What about this situation? How would you have
Mhm.
situation? And while all those things are good to do as well, I think we need to work on that internal voice, asking ourselves that question and seeing how we
Mhm.
personally answer that question.
True. And each one of us is unique in this world. There are no two fingerprints that are alike. Same, there are no two energy fields that are alike. We're all energy beings. So we need to allow ourselves to be unique. Everybody's trying to fit into a mold which is created by society, right? That's what children suffer from. Low self-esteem is also linked to the image they're trying to portray. So, are you part of the cool kids group, or are you part of the non-cool kids group? And then their self-esteem goes up and down with that. So why can't we focus more on learning to be unique? Allow ourselves to be who we are. And I know it's a process, it's not like an on off switch. So you need to work at it. But can you allow your uniqueness to come out, irrespective of what others say? Can you allow yourself to be just you? And if we can teach this more and more to people and adults, that will just make life so much better, because we are all trying to be something we are not many times, right? For me, also, it was the same journey. I was trying to fit in and be like normal people and just do things that others expect of me, right? Till I learned that it's okay for me to have unique ideas. It's okay if my views are different from others. It's okay if my beliefs are different. And I don't need to really fit into everything. Right? And it took me a long time to accept myself. It comes back to self acceptance. And the more I accepted myself, the more I accepted myself to be unique, the more my self esteem went up. Because I started having confidence in myself. It's like, I'm not trying to fit in anywhere in the world. I'm just trying to be me. Right? And being me is something which is easier, and you can do that till the last breath on this planet. But being somebody else takes so much effort. Right? So I think that is one of the things. Can we work on allowing ourselves to be unique? So this year, 2022, can we all take time during the year to discover who we are? Because you can be unique, you know your uniqueness only if you know who you are, right? And can you allow yourself to think differently from others? Can you allow yourself to have different viewpoints, how you perceive life? Right? So if you can focus this year and see who are you, and that again comes back to self-awareness. Who are you? And then as you discover more and more of who you are, protect it. Protect your identity. Yeah. Allow yourself to keep to your identity. Right. And the more you keep it open, like no boundaries, and you're allowing others to define you, you're going to be at the mercy of all these waves coming towards you. Yeah.
Yeah,
So I
and
think,
it's back to that self-trust. And in order
yeah.
to self-trust, I think a small little exercise that you can do throughout the day or throughout the week is to make those priorities on yourself and then keep them. Keep those promises that you set for yourself. And that's building the inner trust within yourself, so that whenever things are coming your way, you're sticking aligned with who you are, what you want, what you're doing, and building that trust internally.
Yeah, and another thing I was thinking about when I was walking yesterday, and I was thinking about self-esteem, is also because we are basing our value, who we are, on outer things. Can you come back and say, okay, let me base it on something I want to achieve in this life? And I would say, base it on a value you want to master in this lifetime, whether it's kindness, compassion, or just wanting to be a student, right? I want to be a student until the last breath I take on this planet, right? So I want to constantly learn. So every situation that happens in my life, I want to learn something from it, right? So when you have a value, if, for example, honesty, if you want to make honesty as the value you want to master in this lifetime, then you're not basing it on your how you look and how you feel and what degrees you have and what certifications you have, all these external criteria of success. You're basing it on a value, and that's in your control. That's not in anybody else's control. So if I want to be an honest person, then have I been honest in a situation? Because if you have, then that situation is successful for you, irrespective of how others see it. Right. So again, redefining success also. I think that's another big thing that has created so much issues around self-esteem, right? Because we define success based on what other people have taught us. And then when we don't achieve that, we think we haven't been successful. Right? So I think, again, can you come back and redefine success in your mind this year? Right? Work on inner work and read what is actually being success. To me, anything that you can't take with you when you leave this earth is not part of your success. Right? So all those degrees that we accumulate and all the material things we accumulate, we can't take it with us. And though we define our success based on those things, oh, if I have a house and I have a car and a great job, then I'm a successful person. Maybe you need to think, is that really being successful? Or
And we
maybe, yeah, you enhanced a value that you had. I was compassionate most of the time, and I worked on compassion more and more, and I really tried to master it. That compassion value you're going to take with you when you leave this earth. And
and
that's my success, right?
yeah, exactly. And we talked a lot about, when there's some negative beliefs or even society's beliefs, and it's been around us for so long and it's always around us that we naturally, go into those things, and it's being able to take a step back and saying, oh wait, this is what someone's telling me I should be or I should do, and actually this isn't even aligned with what I want. So being
Mm-hmm.
those things.
Yeah, and that's again linked to self-awareness. You have to be aware. Where are you taking in what others are saying? Have you given the control of your life to others? Right? So if you define your life as a car, who's running the steering wheel of that car? Because whoever has got the steering wheel in the hands is running your life. Right? So are you allowing others to define and tell you how you should live your life? Are you allowing others to determine how you should feel? Right? Because then your self-esteem is going to suffer a lot.
And I
Right?
and I think that a lot of times we think a person naturally has good self-esteem, or this person is naturally confident, and I think that's a big myth, because it's not something you either have or you don't have. It's something that you need to grow into, that you can definitely grow into. And to be honest, when we start as kids, we're all pretty confident. It's all the life situations and the things that happen around us that start removing that confidence and that self-esteem within us. And it's just about reclaiming back your power of where you came from, of being this confident person when you had no care in the world and you didn't care about what other people were saying about you or thinking about you, and being able to go back to that so you can continue building on your self-confidence.
That's such a small, great point you brought up because as a child, you're born with great self-esteem. You don't really care. You just go about doing your work. I mean, playing and having fun and saying what you want to say, right? And then people start, parents or teachers and other people start putting, you shouldn't say these things. You shouldn't be doing this. This is not the right thing. And we start putting all these limitations and boundaries and rules. And some of them are needed, of course, but still a lot of them are not needed, right? And then the child's esteem goes up, especially our schooling system, I think, tries to mass produce children. And since we are each unique and we are so different from each other, that when you try to put them in a mold and want every kid to get A grades and everything and every kid to do well in school, and when they don't do it, you kind of put their self-esteem down by calling them different names, right? Or giving them like, you're not good enough, you're not smart enough, you're not intelligent enough, right? Creating all these belief systems in them. And that's a topic we are going to talk about next time, I think, right? Limiting beliefs that we set up. But these, yeah, they affect your self-esteem so much.
Yeah.
Right? So as children, we get programmed. Most of your negative self-belief system about yourself happens before the ages of 8 to 12. And I'm a hypnotherapist. I do a lot of research on the brain. So before the ages of 8 to 12, you've created a lot of beliefs on who you are based on what others told you. And now you have, as an adult, like you said, you have to go back and rediscover yourself. And you say, oh, this is not true, actually. Right? Because if you are not self-aware, you're going to keep using those beliefs to run your life.
Yeah.
Right?
I've learned a lot from another hypnotherapist. I've been really into hypnotherapy since learning from
Yeah, I know.
another hypnotherapist that I learned a lot from in Mind Valley called Marissa Peer. And, oftentimes we're searching for words. She says we're searching for words from our parents or, people who raised us for acceptance or self-appreciation. But really, we need to be able to give ourselves words and use that language internally, because the words we tell ourselves are the blueprint of, who we are and who we're going to be, and in stepping into that confidence. And it's not always seeking it from externally or wishing your parents had done a certain thing or, giving you some kind of approval, but using that within yourself and giving it to yourself.
Yeah, and words have so much energy. I done a talk on words in one of my videos on my channel, YouTube channel. You'll find it. But words have so much energy, and every word so word is like concentrated thoughts become words. So be careful of the words you use, because if you define yourself with low self-esteem, then you're going to manifest more of that in your world. So you are the one who's manifesting your life, whether you realize it or not. But your mind tells you that the others around you are helping you or not helping you to manifest the life you want. But that's really not true. The words that you use are so powerful. I could talk about it for hours. So that's why there is meditations like silence meditation, where you don't talk because you don't want to use words, right? So each word is like a seed that you're sowing in your energy field, and that seed is going to manifest whether you like it or not. So if I put an apple seed, then I'm going to get an apple tree. I cannot put an apple seed and expect oranges to come out, right? So if you're using wrong words to define yourself, those words are going to manifest. So be very careful. Don't say I'm stupid or I'm a fool or I'm not good enough. You're going to manifest more of it. And the outer world will validate it for you because you manifested it. Okay. So yeah, be very, very careful. If you want to increase your self-esteem, start being positive about yourself. Speak positively to yourself. Yeah. Right? Reframe your words. Right? Even if the first word that comes, I'm not good enough, and you can change it and say, I'm not good enough. Oh, but that's the old me. The new me, I'm getting better and better. Right? Because thoughts come so fast that we can't stop them, but we can at least end them correctly.
Yeah. And I know you've done a lot of work in the mind and understanding how to, how that works. And oftentimes, even when we have this level of awareness, subconsciously, like you always talk about, it's engraved in us to feel like we don't have good self-esteem. And so naturally we behave and act in a way that, results back in proving to ourselves that, yeah, actually we don't have good self-esteem. So it's this cycle that you're going over and over again between not having self-esteem and then taking actions based on knowing you don't have self-esteem. And then how can you expect different results if, you're going back to that subconscious belief of, oh, I'm not confident. I don't.
Yeah, so it's like going on a wheel, right? Keep spinning the same wheel over and over again. And self-esteem is also dependent on certain aspects of your life, because sometimes people are very good at their work. So in their career, they have good self-esteem, right? Because they know themselves well there, right? So if I'm a project manager, then I know I'm a good project manager. So when I'm at work, I might have great self-esteem, right? But when I come home, I could be a very different person. My self-esteem could be very low, and I can allow my family or others around me to decrease my self-esteem, to affect me in ways that I wouldn't allow others to affect me at work. Right? So you might have better boundaries at work, and you know exactly how to gain respect at work. But when it comes home, your self-esteem is not that strong, and then you're going to allow yourself to put yourself down all the time, and that's going to affect so many things in your life, because it's a spiral. It keeps going down. When you start allowing others to bring you down one time, they'll do it the second time, the third time, and then it becomes going deeper and deeper into the ditch, right?
Yeah, no, definitely. And building a story of who we are has two components. One is all the things we are and all the things, building that story. But then on the other hand, just accepting that certain things are not our interest and certain things we don't really want to put energy in. So for example, you see social media and you see people posting, for example, I'm really into fitness, and I see, athletes posting like backflips and cartwheels and, crazy stuff. So on one hand, like, you want to do all those things, but on the other hand, you have different priorities in life, and you set your passion in different directions. So it's also self-esteem is accepting, the parts of you that you just are not, and you're not spending energy in that section. So it's all right, and accepting both pieces is the self-esteem.
Very true. Very true. Yeah, I think that's also because we want to fit in, right? As I said, square hole and square, I mix up round peg in a square hole. So we're trying to fit into what others think that we should be. So if I'm supposed to be a successful athlete, then I should be able to do all these things, right? But it's really not true, because your body is unique to you. Your strengths are unique to you. So do what makes your body feel good and it doesn't have to be a stereotype version, right? I'm also have kids who are into sports extensively, so I understand your athlete thing very well, right? And so much of the self-esteem of the athlete is affected by the coaches and people around them, because they think, oh, to become a great athlete, you need to be able to do X, Y, Z all the time. And if you can't do it, you're never going to be a good athlete. Right? So once the child accepts that as the truth, then of course he's not going to be the best, because when you accept something as a truth which is limiting you in some way, you are limiting yourself.
Yeah.
I wanted to bring a new perspective also, energy perspective. I'm an energy healer too, and you understand energy very well too, right? So the more our belief systems creates the box in which we live. So the more we restrict ourselves by rules and regulations, the smaller energy field becomes. And then it's difficult for your self-esteem to rise because as a soul, you are expansive, growing, right? So when you restrict yourself, your self-esteem is going to suffer because there are too many boundaries which is telling you exactly how to live your life. And you've created this box and you say, this is how I'm supposed to live my life. So learn sometimes to get outside your comfort zone.
Yeah.
Do things that are not comfortable. You might discover that, oh my God, I didn't realize I am capable of doing this. And you suddenly your confidence goes up saying, you know what, I can learn new things. It's not a big deal. I now realize that I have this great potential for learning new things. Right? And you will discover only if you start exploring new avenues.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been a volleyball coach, as you know, for the last 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
Only in the last 2 years specifically that I've shifted into more mindset and confidence in my players versus just the technical piece. And that really is where the transition happens. Because you can teach someone to do something technically or to perform anything technically as long as you want, but until they have that internal confidence, self-esteem that they've got this, that under pressure they can do it, that they can take more risks when they're approaching and hitting, or whatever it is, that's where the transition happens. And to be honest, I've been playing volleyball for even more than 10-15 years, and even I've become a better volleyball player in the last year, just from building on that confidence of saying, you know what, I actually know what I'm doing. All I need to do is believe it in myself and apply this technique and pass the ball or whatever it is. But it's funny because even when I look at my performance, even I have improved in volleyball in the last year, and not much has changed except for that self-esteem.
Yeah, it's all about your mind, how you program your mind, right? And your self-esteem is definitely linked to how you program yourself. So if you can learn to reprogram yourself, you can actually go way beyond what you think you can do in life. Right? That's why we say we are limitless being. We have no, we have infinite potential. When we don't understand what it means, it just means that let go all the programs you put in your brain that says, I can't be good enough, or I'm getting too old now, and I can't do this because this person has a better body, longer legs, so he can run faster than me. Let go all that slowly, slowly. Work on it. It needs work. It's not just consciously doing it. You have to do it at a subconscious level because 90% of you is subconscious, right? But yeah, create a good story for yourself in this 2022. It's a great time of the year to start with a good story, right? Figure out what you want to achieve this year. And it doesn't have to be very specific if you don't know your specifics. It could be just general. You know what? I want to work in a job where I feel happy every day. It could be as simple as that. And so saying, I want this kind of a job with this kind of a thing and this company and this place and this location. If you can keep it general, you never know what the universe will bring to you. Right? So start building your self-confidence and self-esteem this year by reprogramming how you talk to yourself. Like you keep constantly telling, right? Inner voice, do your inner work. Yeah, you have a nice video on that too. I like it. So it's like, do your inner work. It's very important because your inner world is being reflected in the outer world. Right? So you want to change something in the outer world, go within yourself and start shifting and changing.
Yeah.
You are beautiful. You are an expression of the divine. How can you not be beautiful? It's just that we don't have a realization of that, right? Because if you can realize how beautiful you are, I don't mean in looks, I mean just everything about you, your qualities, your strengths, everything. Even your weaknesses are beautiful because they are an opportunity for you to learn and grow, right? So even your weaknesses are beautiful. So if you can appreciate that about yourself, that you are beautiful, and you can work from that plane instead of I'm not good enough, then suddenly life will just start shifting for you. And it'll take a while to shift, right? Because everything happens in divine timing, right? You just don't know what you're holding in your subconscious. So it takes a while for you to change everything within your subconscious.
Yeah. And
Right?
I think I like looking at the bigger picture when you're making goals, not just
Mm-hmm.
specifically do this. Look at
Mm-hmm.
the picture. What does specifically doing that thing really mean? What's the overarching theme that you're going for? And a lot of times
Mm-hmm.
set these goals, in the beginning of the year, and then quickly they phase out. And it's not because we don't really want those goals. It's because we haven't worked on the self-esteem to believe that we can have those goals.
Exactly, that we to believe that you deserve to have those goals manifested, right? And that is not just going to happen by itself. You will have to go and reprogram yourself, and you have to keep your focus on it. So that's why take an area of your life that you want to master in this 2022. Make every year count. So set your yearly goal in certain buckets of your life, and say, in my self-development bucket, I want to enhance creativity. Then every action that you take, seek, are you being creative or are you just following what others are doing? right? So it could be that. And keep it somewhere written down. Creativity. That's my goal for the year, right? In self-development. In career, you can have some other goal. In your finances, you can have another goal. But have one goal which is linked to a value.
Yeah. I
That can make your identity strong.
I had done that exercise with you, Karuna, and one of the ones I had written was letting go of perfection was for 2021. And I like on it at the end of 2021, and I was thinking, wow, I really like, I set that intention at the beginning of the year, and I kept reminding myself throughout the year, but without even really obsessing over it. Throughout the year, I've experienced so many different things that have helped me let go of that perfection. And so it's even as simple or as broad as coming up with something that huge. This year, for me, I would like to be more bold, for example. So how do I show up more bold in my business and in my career? That's my, bigger goal. How that happens, I'm not being too specific about it, but that's the overarching theme.
And doesn't it feel great when you have a goal in the starting of the year and you keep focusing on it throughout the year, and the end of the year, wow, I really grew, right? I think it was a big shift for you because you would turn from being too perfectionist, which limits you again because you're setting boundaries, right? It restricts your view of the world because you're trying to be too perfect, right? But if you can learn where to be, what amount of perfection is required for what different things, you can explore more areas of your life.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, that's a good thing. People, when you set up goals, don't just set up goals based on things you want to achieve in the outer world. Set up goals on things you want to achieve within yourself. Right. So I want to continue to work on unconditional love. I want to manifest more and more unconditional love in my life. That's my life goal. Okay. So I take different aspects of it and work on it during the year. Right. I want to experience more and more unconditional love on this planet. So I'm trying to put love into everything I do. Right? All actions I take, I'm thinking, is it coming from a place of love or not? And of course, I'll slip many times, right? And which is okay. But at least I become aware that, you know what? I had good intentions, but I didn't put love in the actions that I took, right? So maybe I need to rethink about that. So if I'm focusing on it, I'm definitely going to improve in it because where you focus is where your energy goes, right? So if my goal is to increase my level of understanding of unconditional love, then I am trying to really work at it. It's not just going to happen organically just like that, unless I'm really being aware of my actions throughout the year and seeing, is it happening from love or not? Right? Even your simple process like cooking, you can do it from love. Even if you're not a great cook and you just have to make peanut butter jelly sandwich, can you put some love in it? Do it with the love in your heart. Then suddenly that energy of your love will enter the peanut butter jelly sandwich and you'll enjoy it much more.
Yeah.
So find it.
Yeah, I agree. And I'd love to hear our audience share in the comments, what would you like to bring more of in 2022, and think of that big, broader concept of what that is for you.
Yeah, I think make that your goal for this year. Work on one area of self-development which is linked to a value you want to achieve mastery over, right? And decide that value. If you're taking honesty, for example, you have to focus on it. Not only being honest with others, but more important, being honest with yourself. Because if you don't have honesty within yourself, you can't really manifest it outside. Just like love. If you don't love yourself, you really don't know what love is. And therefore, if you're trying to get love from outside, you're never going to be able to do it. Because even if somebody is giving you love, you won't appreciate it because you don't know what love is. Because there's absence of self-love, right? And you see this happening all the time, at least because we are energy sensitive. I see that happening around the world. I see couples and I see people, and I realize one person is being so loving and the other is not, right? And you see this play happening because you haven't built it within yourself. So if you want to make it honesty, then are you really honest in your actions? Are you saying yes when you want to say no? Or are you saying no when you want to say yes because you're being dishonest, right? So honesty is, again, coming back to what we talked about before in self-acceptance, was it?
Yeah.
Knowing exactly, right? What is it that you are being honest about, right? And work on it because it's a beautiful thing. These are the values of what you're going to take with you when you leave this earth. That's going to determine your happiness level too, because the stronger your values, the more happy you will be, right? So if I'm working out of kindness and if I've exhibited kindness in situations and others don't feel it, I don't have to put my self-esteem down.
Yeah.
Because they said, oh, Karuna, you're not being kind. Because I can look at that situation, I can evaluate it in my mind and say, no, I know my intentions were good and I was coming from it. Maybe the other person hasn't able to accept my kindness. Because maybe sometimes we think that love has to come in this way only. If it comes another way, we don't accept it. Right? So it's like, oh, you are not participating in my emotional drama. That means you don't love me. But maybe my way of loving you is by sending positive thoughts to you or sending positive energy to you. And you probably don't get it because I'm not doing it verbally. Right? So again, the language can vary.
Yeah.
But your self-esteem, allow it to be from within you.
Yeah. Yeah. And I challenge everyone in 2022 to really open up your mind, get broader, get bigger, think of the deeper and more passionate things that you want to bring into this life. And like for me, it's bringing more joy. And how am I going to do that? And like you said, it could be you thinking joyful thoughts and sending them out. It can be actually doing something for someone. It can be anything. Like, don't limit yourself in that box. And really think of it as a bigger topic. So before we end our call, Karuna, let's summarize, what we think are the key takeaways for this episodes of self-esteem. And I think my favorite part about doing these talks with you is that everything overlaps at some point or another, because everything is
all connected.
Yeah.
It's all interlaced, right? So I think some of the takeaways is this year, what you should do is create your identity first. Work on it. Keep accepting. Make a note of what all your strengths are. And even your weaknesses, accept them, right? And so, second thing here, allow yourself to be unique. Yeah, work on saying, okay, I think differently. This is how I eat. This is how I pick my nose. It's okay, right? So allow yourself. And third thing I think about, which we didn't talk about much, is unbolt yourself. Unlock yourself from all the limitations you've placed around yourself and all others have placed around you, right? And say, you know what? That's another way of being unique. These limitations are limiting me. I'm going to let go of it. I'm going to let go of behaving this way. I'm going to let go of thinking this way, right? Change your thoughts. Work on it. So I think all that will help you to bring your self-esteem up, because you're relying on yourself for getting your self-esteem up, not on others. And as you keep doing it, evaluate at the end of the year, next December 2022, see where have you landed. And you surely would have landed in a better place if you have kept your focus on that, right? So more joy to you. Find joy in negative situations too, because sometimes we look at negative situations as bad, but they are the ones which are giving you a positive change. So if you can start looking at them from a place of joy, those negative situations, oh my God, this negative situation is going to teach me something, right? And I don't like it, but I'm feeling happy about it because it's going to help me grow, right? So, and I'm working on love. I want to include more and more love into everything that I do.
Yeah.
Right? But I think those are the takeaways, I think, from this session. It's more about changing your identity and increasing your self-esteem through your own inner world.
And for those of you who are very visual like me and who like to visualize what that is for me, it's those roots in the tree.
Yeah, I love that.
That is, signifies, for example, self-esteem. And every time when you're feeling that doubt in yourself, visualize that and, see if it helps you kind of ground yourself and build in that confidence internally.
Yeah, I think that's a great tree. Think of a tree and think of what kind of tree you are. And then keep aligning yourself to the tree all the time, that I'm strong, I'm strong, I can weather the storms in my life, right? I'm beautiful just the way I am. I don't really need others. Just like a tree doesn't care whether you appreciate it or not. It just knows its own self, right? So know that you're beautiful irrespective of outer circumstances. And the outer circumstances will change over time to reflect back the inner beauty. It will happen. That's the spiritual law, right?
Yeah.
So happy 2022 once more to everybody.
Yeah. 2022, and remember, self-esteem is something that you can work on. It's not something that you are or you aren't. So cheers to 22. Share your biggest insight in the comments, and we'll see you guys next week.
Next Wednesday at noon, Pacific Standard Time. We go back to our original schedule.
All right, guys. Have a good day.
Thank you. Bye.